Greetings, personal governors. Welcome to my channel. This is Personal Gov. I'm JP Watkins. This is where you come for food for your mind and motivation for your soul. And today's topic is going to be about the importance of that can-do spirit. Once again, we're getting into that mindset piece. How many times have you been overwhelmed with whatever? Say you're getting ready to go back to school, or you're redoing your house. Maybe you're gonna revamp the kitchen, redo the bathroom, or maybe you got to do the roof, maybe you got a big job, and you just get overwhelmed. Maybe you've been recently diagnosed with type 2 diabetes and you want to lose 50, 60 pounds. Where do you start? Well, the thing is, it's important to get a can-do spirit, a can-do attitude. So rather than being like, oh, how am I going to do this? Oh, geez, I don't know where to eat. Just sit down. Let's be practical about it. So I'm gonna give you a practical example, and then this is just an example. It's not the example for everything. Like for instance, when I got on a journey, I've lost weight. I've been transparent. I've lost weight, gained weight, lost weight. So I know how to lose it. But the thing is, now I had to really focus on changing the lifestyle. So once I had to ask myself, oh man, because I was overeating 3, 4, 5 times a day, every day, from sometimes drinking a 2 liter of pop, drinking a lot of iced tea, eating cakes, cookies, literally eating packs of Oreos. I mean, you name it, eating a whole pizza, eating, 2, 3 triple whoppers, and I'm not exaggerating. Now, for people that know me, they know I can put it away. So I had to ask myself, I was like, okay, if it's one thing, that's gonna put you in your early grave. If you had to wrap it down, yes, you eating all this processed food. Yes, you eating a lot of fast food. Yes, you eating a lot of sugars. You eat meat, sweets, and all this stuff. If you had to eliminate one thing, so I was like, well, there's one thing I would say: sweets. So what I did was I started focusing on getting sweets out. So first I stopped drinking the pop. I was still drinking like iced tea, but I started diluting my iced tea. I started doing like maybe a 50-50 iced tea. Then I got used to kind of drinking the tea not being as sweet. So then I started diluting it more. So maybe like a 70-30, and then eventually I got to where I could just have like a hint of tea in my water, just so it didn't, the plain water. And then I finally, once I got rid of the iced tea and to where I transitioned to water, then I got rid of that pop first. The pop, getting rid of that. Drinking my calories was a big thing. Drinking sugar calories was a really big thing. So then eventually, after I got rid of the pop, then I started weeding out the cookies and cakes and stuff like that. So then, just doing that, that shedded an easy, that helped me shed an easy 30 pounds, you know. But it took time. I just focused. I didn't say, hey, I didn't try to do everything at once. So then after a while, I got to where, I wasn't such a sugaraholic. I got to where every once in a while I have some sweets. Even like now, I'm not a sugar addict. For the most part, when I have fruit or whatever, I'll actually have some figs, or I'll have some cranberries or something like that. I usually, for the most part, will have actual fruit, whole fruit, versus having, Oreos and cookies and stuff like that. So then the next thing that I said, okay, you done got that down. Now this is over a period of time. This wasn't like 3 days, 4 days. No, maybe over 3, 4 months. Give yourself some time and be honest. Hold yourself accountable. Then the next thing for me, because I got off sweets because I got hip to the ketogenic diet and I started leaning on meats. But because I was under resourced, a lot of times I was using a lot of junk food. So what I mean by that, pastrami, salami, bologna, a lot of this, hot dogs, a lot of this processed stuff, really cheap, really high in sodium. So even though I was losing weight, blood pressure was still high because it's so much sodium. So, all right, so the next thing, you got the sweets out your diet. Now you got to get this sodium. You got to get this, radically reduce this sodium. So then that was the next thing, was to get out that. So I finally started getting like whole chicken and, getting, like the rotisserie chicken, or baking my chicken, stuff like that. And then I went down to chicken and fish, and eventually I got a lot of the beef out, the pork out, because a lot of the pork that I would eat would be sausage, and because I love Bob Evans sausage, and so that's just a way. Now, say for instance, you're gonna redo your house. You want to do the whole house, and you just overwhelmed. Oh my God, I want to totally remodel the whole house. I don't know what to do. All right, so sit down. What's the most important? I mean, if you got something leaking, is your roof leaking? You know what I'm saying? Is air getting in the house? What needs to be done first? Oh, okay. I need to fix the roof. The roof is leaking. Okay, hey, everything else to be, let's knock that roof out. Focus on that. Throw everything at getting that roof done. And now the roof is done. Okay, what's the next thing? Maybe the key room that the water damage happened in that room. Then you knock that out. Just start having that can-do spirit, but organize yourself and just be consistent. Everything's a cinch if you do it inch by inch. Break it down. Break it down into parts instead of looking at, man, I got to do this whole house. No, I got to do this roof. I got to do this room. I got to do the kitchen. Instead of looking at, oh man, I got to make all these changes to my diet. I got to give up all my meats, all my sweets, all my junk. Eventually, you'll work your way into, hey, I got to give up my pop. I got to give up these snacks. You see? And you got to decide that. You may not want to say, hey, look, I ain't giving up my pop. Hey, look, you got to decide. You got to pick your poison and decide what's important for you. I'm just giving you an example of how to break things down. But you got to start with that can-do spirit. Hey, you got to know that you can do it. And once you tell yourself that you can do it, then you sit down, you prioritize, and you say, okay, this is how I'm going to do it. And that's the same thing. And like I use some very, mechanical things like losing weight, like fixing the house. But guess what? This is the same thing. Getting over a heartache, getting over heartbreak. When I went through a very difficult breakup, it was like, man, it was so hard. Like, man, I'm having such a hard time getting over my kid's mom. How do I go on? How do I get out this space? But one of the things was, whenever possible, you want to try to make it concrete as possible. Abstract things we have a hard time with, right? Oh, I'm just going to feel better. Oh, I just want to be happy. Well, what does that mean? What does it mean to get over? What does it mean? Oh, it don't hurt no more. Like Teddy Pendergrass said, it don't hurt no more, But it do hurt. And how do you put a logic application to a very emotional situation, right? So what I did was I wrote down, took a piece of paper out, wrote pros on one side, cons on the other. I said, okay, what do you miss? What do you miss about it? Oh, miss this, miss the physical attributes, miss the companionship, blah, 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 Write down anything that you miss, rather it's whatever. And I wrote down all the things that I missed, this, and that. Okay, now, what's the other things? What's some things you don't miss? What's some of the bad things? What do you miss about her? What's those things? Why you laugh? Oh, this. Oh, yeah. Oh, you don't miss the frustration. And I literally just wrote out all these different things, right? And then once I wrote it down, and I said, now be honest. You know what I'm saying? Be honest with this. Don't, try to inflate one or decrease the other. Sometimes we'll do that. We'll lie to ourselves. So I had to be honest. So then lay it down, and then what you do is go ahead and put that up, and then later on, make another sheet and do the same thing again. And what you want to do is get that old one, even if it's a day later, get the one from yesterday, get the other one, compare them. See what I'm saying? So a lot of times, and then if you're being honest with yourself, you'll see, okay, wow, and for me, it was clear. It had a few things, and a lot of them were wrapped around, if I'm being honest, a lot of those things were wrapped around the physical. It was a lot of physical attraction. It was a lot of physical things. It was a lot of, just the physical companionship, having somebody to sleep with at night, having that company, having somebody to hold, but then a lot of those other things, which were bigger things, not supportive of my aspirations, my professional aspirations, not very, the household, just not supportive in those personal or professional things. You see what I'm saying? So that was a big challenge. So I'd say, hey, you know what? I like these things. These are the things that I don't like. And these things are very important. These things, and it's not to demonize the other party, but I just want to use an example to say, hey, you can use this same thing. You got to have that can do. How can I go forward? Then once you ask yourself, how can I go forward? You sit down. So now you maybe say, well, why do I want to go forward? Well, why? Well, look, you want to be a singer and they don't support you being a singer. You want to be, you want to go to school to, get into politics or whatever. Well, they don't want you to be in politics. They want you to work and come home. And, being in politics is going to cause you to have to travel and do all these other things. It's going to take you away from the house, right? So that's why if you don't, those personal aspirations don't line up with those professional aspirations, it's important. It's important to think about that. So then once you see that, it helps you, and and then you start working on it. Yeah, still gonna take time, but keep yourself busy. You say, okay, I'm gonna be working on this. Because then when you start working on yourself more, that gives you less time to think about this situation. Okay, I'm getting better. I'm gonna start taking this certification. I'm gonna enroll in this program. I'm gonna start learning a second language. I'm gonna start learning how to play this instrument. Distract yourself with a healthy distraction. Well, I hope this has been useful for you. If you like it, subscribe, make a comment, share, and that's my time for the day. In the meantime, persist, believe, and achieve.